Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth from Elpis Astrology at elpisastrology.com. Thanks for joining me today. So this video is going to be about my take on the astrology for March 2026. So most of the month of March, we are going to have Mars that's going to be in Pisces. We're going to have Venus all month in Aries. We're going to have Jupiter going direct on the 11th of March at 15 degrees of Cancer. And of course, we have an eclipse happening in March as well as a full moon. Let's start off with the 1st of March. Well, the 1st of March rewinds us back to February, in particular, the eclipse that we had on the 17th of February. And that was at 28 degrees of Aquarius. So Mars is now at 28 degrees of Aquarius on the 1st of March, conjuncting that degree point of the eclipse in February, February's new moon. And so what does this do? This gives energy to that eclipse, and I'm going to talk about the type of energy that I'm referring to. But it also is a time when decisions are made, actions are taken of whatever came up as a maybe new piece of information or new surprising event, right? Because it was in Aquarius. We now take action on the 1st of March, decisive action. Now, if I just go back a tiny bit into, I know I talked about I'm doing March, but I did want to talk about the energies of the that eclipse in March, or in February. That eclipse in February at 28, almost 29 degrees of Aquarius. I use this book a lot. It's from Bernadette Brady, and it is called The Eagle and the Lark. It's a great book. She delineates a number of things in here, but one of the things she does really well is she helps us understand something called the Saros cycles. And each of these moons, these eclipses, especially the new moons, are part of what's called a Saros cycle. And I have talked about this in detail in other videos, so I'm not going to discuss all the ins and outs of it. But I will let you know what this particular eclipse that's being activated now by Mars on the 1st of March is about. It is part of the Saros cycles 10 North. And I'm just going to read what Bernadette Brady actually says the energies are. There's a very strong emphasis on communication, and at the same time, frustrating or inhibiting events may come into the person's life via the news, paperwork, or even a young person. This may drain the specific person or individual, or this could be on the world stage, of course, too, in our governments, for instance. It's a good time to take things quietly and work through the difficulties one at a time. So those energies are being activated here in the 1st of March. And I really thought this was important to mention, because I think that's what's going to be happening here. There's going to be some big actions taken here, probably surprising ones, because we're talking about the energies of Aquarius. With regards to the news, we think we've heard it all, that it can't get even worse. Well, it just might get worse with this Mars activating that eclipse. And so we'll have to see what comes out through the news, but you can expect more to come out. And I would say very surprising things, maybe even to do with surprising people. And Mars can represent males, right? All right, so that starts us off. Then we go straight into, a couple days later on the 3rd of March, our next eclipse. And this eclipse is a total full moon eclipse at very close to 13 degrees of Virgo. It is at 3:38 a.m., and that's Pacific Daylight Time. The actual full moon is at 12 Virgo 53, but we can round that up and say it's 13 degrees of Virgo. So see if you've got anything around 13 degrees of Virgo. Because this is a full moon, we know that the sun is in the opposite sign, so that would be Pisces. And so if you've got anything at 13 degrees of Pisces, well, you're going to be activated by this eclipse. Now, it is a full moon, but as a reminder again, these eclipses can usher in new stuff as well. So as one door closes, and in this case, I would say a door is closing, something is culminating, information that is important is coming out, because that's very Virgo, right? Important information. It's also about service to the people as well, right? And of course, health matters can be brought up at this time too. But I feel there's going to be a critical eye here put on important information that comes out, and I think this is going to play out on the world stage. But check, as I said, to see if you think it's in your chart. Maybe you're going to have something wrapped up in an individual way. So some of the aspects that are happening around this full moon is that we have the moon is going to be widely trine Jupiter in Cancer. And of course, that means that the sun, the sun will be widely trine Cancer because they're both water signs. And the moon will be sextile. But the moon, interestingly, is very close to the south nodes of the moon. This is an eclipse after all. So what this says to me is we really look at south nodes as maybe what you should let go of. The moon from a collective level can represent the people. And so to me, this is really saying that something will be fading into the background regarding the people. And in particular, what peoples are they? Well, it may be the people of Iran. If we look at the Iran's chart as it is right now, we know that we've got a few things happening around that degree point of 13 degrees. It looks like earphones. Those are the north nodes of the moon. That is our destiny path that we're supposed to be leading. And this very simply says to me, the Iranian people's destiny path is lit up at this time, right? There's a culmination of the old going out and this new energy coming in for the people. So that's what I think is happening here for Iran. I'm going to talk about more stuff with them. So when we look at the Crown Prince, Reza Pahlavi, and we put this Virgo full moon into his chart. So the outside ring of this chart is the Virgo full moon eclipse. The inside ring is his natal planets. So you can see here at approximately the 1 o'clock position that that moon, that full moon eclipse, actually conjuncts his north nodes. So something will be up for him in terms of his destiny path. I've kind of discussed this a little bit in other videos, but I'm going to bring it up here because it does pertain specifically to the eclipse for him as well. And, you know, by wide conjunction, his Pluto is at 7 degrees of Virgo. So it's like this eclipse that happens at 13 degrees of Virgo, as it makes its way to be an eclipse, will first of all conjunct Reza Pahlavi's Pluto, and then go on to conjunct the north nodes. So this is also a seminal moment for him in terms of his transformation and his destiny path. Yeah, and we have transiting Jupiter will be coming up to conjunct his descendant axis. Transiting Jupiter at that eclipse is going to be at 15 degrees of Cancer. It will closely come up to conjunct his Mars, which is at 16 degrees. And I really take this as, you know, his ascent to take back the crown that belongs to him. And so something is going to be happening at that Virgo full moon eclipse on the 3rd of March for him to be able to take action to do that. Now, some of these things may be happening behind the scenes, and we may not see the evidence of that, but we will surely hear more of it later on this year and find out that something did happen at that eclipse to help his ascent to gain his crown back that is rightfully his. The other thing that pertains to us here in the USA is, so I'm just looking at some of the charts that I've got, the USA chart. And if we look at the USA chart, the sun is at 13 degrees of Cancer. So this full moon forms a very favorable sextile with the USA's Sibley chart's sun. And so there may be new opportunities here for, I think this sun represents the government and those in positions of power. This says to me there's going to be an ending or culmination here with some prominent male. But it's coming through a positive sextile. So it's going to be a positive thing for the USA. We'll have to see how that pans out. All right. We have, of course, the Mercury retrograde is still ongoing. It'll be at 20 degrees of Pisces. And we have Saturn, which is just starting to separate from its conjunction with Neptune and really going to be operating on its own as it goes up to 14 degrees before it goes retrograde in 2026. We also have Venus in Pisces will be sextiling Uranus. So we have Uranus as a player here in this eclipse too. But it's sextile. So this is positive opportunities being given. Unexpected positive opportunities for what? Venus can represent females. It can literally represent a male, or it can literally represent a female. It can represent money. And it can represent our values. My personal feeling is that this is going to be giving some opportunities for females to break free and get freedom here. But it could also, pan out as an individual female unexpectedly provides opportunities or unexpectedly breaks free from something and we hear about it. On the 8th and 9th of March, we have that Venus going on to conjunct Saturn. Venus now goes into Aries at this time. So here we're talking about taking something like money, for instance. In this case, I think it's money. There's maybe some hardships that come out with regards to money, or we have to take money more seriously at this time. Playing out on the world stage, some currencies could lose out here and, have something happen to them that causes them to, pull those purse strings very tight. The next day, on the 10th of March, we have that Venus going on to sextile Pluto. Well, this is beautiful. Again, this is opportunities here for powerful transformation. And this can play out on the world stage in the way that money, again, could be represented here, that is transformed. Now, it is a sextile, so this is positive transformation of our money markets. But it can also refer to females. And this is a positive transformation for females, generally speaking. Could also be a female, transforms and provides us opportunities on the world stage. So watch out for that, too. Now, when we get to the 13th of March, we have Mars conjuncting the north nodes at 8 degrees of Pisces. And so here we have this action-oriented Mars coming up to our destiny path. So these are the transiting north nodes. I would say there's going to be some decision point made here with regards to or action taken regarding our destiny on a global stage. And it will be noticed at this time. The 15th of March has that Mercury, which is still retrograde, conjuncting Mars now at 10 degrees of Pisces. This says to me that there's going to be some things being held back. So because it's a Mercury retrograde, this information isn't necessarily going to come out right away. So this is deceptive things going on behind the scenes. Maybe information being put out that is not correct information. That there's actions taken to hide information here. So watch what happens around that 15th of March. Watch what's happening on the news, on YouTube, all those types of things. Because it's probably not going to be true, whatever is coming out. And don't worry, that Mercury will go direct. And it'll go direct very close to the north nodes. And that'll be on the 20th of March. So 20th of March will bring to light whatever was being held back, or deceptive types of communications on that 15th of March will be revealed on the 20th of March. So the final lunation of the month is going to be the new moon that will be happening in Pisces. That new moon in Pisces is going to be at 20 degrees Pisces, 27 minutes. So that's almost at the anaretic degree of 29 degrees Pisces. We know the sun and the moon are together at a new moon. It is going to be on the 18th of March at 6:24 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Some of the aspects are, we're going to have Venus now at 15 degrees of Aries. And that will be forming an exact square with Jupiter at 15 degrees of Cancer. You'll rarely get anything negative with a square, especially with the two benefics together. And so I would say this may bring, if you've got, say, something around that 15 degrees, this could bring in, some positive energy regarding money for you. Your value may go up. Some folks may even, have a love encounter of some sort. But, we're looking at 15 degrees of Aries here and 15 degrees of Cancer. At this new moon, we will still have Mercury that is technically retrograde at this time. And it is going to be conjuncting the north nodes at 8 degrees of Pisces. So this really says to me there's going to be some news here regarding our collective destiny path. This may also bring in elements of compassion, right? Because it is Pisces. News about some compassionate need here. Now, when we look again here at Reza Pahlavi's chart, right? So we'll take a look up here at his chart, and we look at, well, what has he got happening here? That's important. Right? And I'm going to discuss about Iran as well. Let me just get Reza's out first. So we can see here, and this is about the 7 o'clock position here in his chart. And you can see that his natal moon is at 29 degrees of Pisces. So we know that it is not an eclipse, but we know that this new moon also affects the crown prince. And I've talked about this before, but that moon can represent the people, right? The people of Iran for him. So he is going to be bringing some focus here with regards to a new start. A new start. There's compassion involved here on his part for his people. So we may hear some very interesting things from the crown prince at this new moon as well, especially as it applies to his people of Iran. It's a big one for him, even though this is just a new moon and it's not an eclipse. So March is going to be important for him. Let me see what else we've got happening here. Yeah, we've already talked about transiting Jupiter conjuncting his Mars and being very close to his descendant. That will just activate his ascent to gain his crown. Mercury is retrograde and will be opposing his natal Pluto, within a degree. So this also says that, now this is a Mercury retrograde, so he may not be able to announce something about this transformation of himself. But there will be something that occurs. It's probably going to be behind the scenes. Maybe this is even documentation, right? Mercury can represent that as well. Transforming documentation regarding him, but because it's still Mercury retrograde, he's not going to be bringing it open to the public at this time. And if we look at Iran's chart at this new moon in Pisces, we have that sun and moon exactly sextiling Iran's moon. Yeah. So you can see the moon here is it's around the 4 o'clock position in this chart. At 28 degrees and some minutes of Taurus. And of course, Uranus will be exactly conjunct Iran's natal moon at 28 degrees of Taurus as well. And the sun and the moon will be conjunct Iran's Mercury. And Iran's Mercury is at 27 degrees of Pisces. So there's something very big up for Iran as well at this time, a whole new start. Now, following this, a few days later, we have the vernal or spring equinox. That is going to be on the 20th of March at 7:46 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. This is when the sun is at 0 degrees of Aries. It also marks the start of Western astrology's new start to the year. So this is an important point, the 0 degree point of Aries. What do we have going on at this time? Well, we still have Mercury retrograde for a little while, but that Mercury retrograde is going to be going direct the same day that the vernal equinox occurs. It's just going to be a bit later. So it will be at 12:34 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time that Mercury goes direct at 8 Pisces 29 minutes. So we have the vernal equinox occurring, followed by Mercury going direct. I would say this is going to be an important day, the 20th of March, where I would say a lot of important information will be shared with the world that was held back. And I think a lot of this is going to be helping literally the world move forward on the destiny path that they're meant to be on. If you've got something around 8 degrees, let's just say 7, 8, or 9 degrees at Pisces, this could be a really important day for you. We have that Sun will be conjuncting Neptune. Why? Because we know that Neptune now is fully ensconced in Aries, right, at 0 degrees. This is very inspirational. It could also mark a time when that Sun on the world stage could represent a male figure. Typically, we're talking about someone in a position of power. Maybe give an actual inspirational speech of some sort, especially as we've got that Mercury going direct. The moon will be widely conjunct Venus. That's just nice energy all around. Mars is going to be trining Jupiter. And the sun will be widely sextiling Uranus. So the day is kind of an interesting day, that 20th of March, with both those things occurring the same day, and then these other aspects. I think the other aspects around that day are very supportive, generally speaking. We could see some movement forward with regards to foreign affairs of some sort here. There could be some change announced also, but it's going to be positive change with regards to positions of people in positions of power. That's that sun widely sextiling Uranus on that day. So when we look at a peek at April, we have a number of things happening in April. We have Uranus finally going into, permanently for a few years into Gemini. That's going to be on the 27th of April. We're going to have a full moon in Libra, a new moon in Aries, and Venus will be in Taurus all month. And of course, Venus rules Taurus, so very positive for Taurians. And we will also have Mars in Aries conjunct Saturn on the 19th of April. I wanted to mention this because this is very close to Iran's sun. So that 19th of April could be a watershed time period for the Iranian people. All right. Next, I'm going to be doing the individual either sun signs and or ascendants. I would suggest that you read for or listen to or watch your ascendant to begin with, and then go on to look at your sun sign, because the sun is very important in your chart as well, just to gain additional information. When you look at or listen to or watch your ascendant, it gives you, generally speaking, the area of your life. But of course, if you've got your own personal chart, get your own personal chart and see where all these different aspects that I spoke about, especially the eclipse and that new moon, falls in your chart. So Pisces, we're going to get to your new moon in a minute, but I want to wish you Happy New Year to all my Pisces clients, as well as any of my viewers and subscribers. But let's talk, first of all, about that total full moon eclipse that's at 13 degrees of Virgo. We know that Virgo is opposite to you, right? And it also represents where your 7th house is. And the 7th house is everybody over there, right? And everybody over there, typically in astrology, is represented by our business partnerships, our marriage partner. It is our clients, but it's also any other that's out there that I have to deal with. Typically, we're talking about people that we have an agreement with, and that typically also is like a contract of some sort, right? And so we know it opposes you. But nicely, we have the sun, because it's a full moon, in the opposite sign, in your sign. Now, we have Venus sextiling Uranus at that eclipse, that total full moon eclipse. And Venus is in your 1st house, Uranus is in the 3rd house. So this is also occurring at that eclipse for you. And so this says to me there may be some important communications that come in for some Pisces that help you wrap something up, or if there are some Pisces that are waiting for some important information to come in, an important message, or you've been seeking out, maybe even doing a research project, you finally put together or have this important information come out for you. Certainly that supports you, the Venus sextiling Uranus. Unexpectedly, you may move a piece of paper and say, that's the information I've been waiting for. Or you turn on a podcast and it's like, oh, wow, that's the information I needed. And so that could be something that's revealed to you at this total full moon eclipse on the 3rd of March. Now, it could also, because this does happen, the actual eclipse itself happens in your 7th house. These things that I just described could also happen to your partner, whether that's a business partner or partners, or your marriage partner. They may have some interesting news for you. And with Venus involved here, maybe that news has something to do with money. Unexpected money comes their way. But the unexpected money could also come to you too, Pisces. But it'll be coming through the eclipse. So it'll be coming through other people that you're dealing with. Maybe some Pisces are signing off on some contracts at this time. That's what I'm thinking. And you wrap it all up at this eclipse, positively, right? Now we know that new moon, which is almost at 29 degrees of Pisces, is in your 1st house. But as I've mentioned earlier, you should get your own chart out and see where 28, 29 degrees of Pisces is. I'm using the whole house system when I do these videos. And so I put that just still in your 1st house. But the interesting point of it is this. 29 degrees represents the anaretic degree, and this new moon is very close to that. So although it's a new moon, it's also kind of a culmination and wrap up and intensifying of these kinds of energies, right? And the energies of Pisces, I always look at Pisces as potentially having a very compassionate side to them, but it can also bring up other things too, like great inspiration. There may be some folks that get some great inspiration at this time. Maybe some folks that are involved in film, photography, dance, all those things are featured at this time too, and music. So if you are in that industry or these industries, you might want to look at that new moon for some real inspiration coming in for you, right? Now we're also going to have Mars in Pisces at that time too. A great time to make decisions, to move forward with things, to start something new. Now the North Node will conjunct Mercury when it goes direct on the 20th, and that'll be at 8 degrees of Pisces. If you by chance, Pisces, have something around that 8 degrees, so we can take 7, 8, 9 degrees of Pisces. You're also going to have, when that Mercury goes direct, some big change and maybe big announcements to make about a new destiny path that you are on now. So this is in conjunction with finishing off the new moon effects, followed by Mercury going direct on the 20th. But you do have this Mercury retrograde for at least 20 days of March affecting you. What does it mean? It doesn't mean your life stops, but it does say pay attention to any messages you're receiving, any messages you're giving out. It would be a good time to say, if you're a writer or you're involved in writing something or collecting information, that's a good thing to do, a good activity to do during a Mercury retrograde. It is not the time where you sign off and seal any kind of communications or contracts, if you can avoid it. Sometimes we can't avoid it. But it's certainly, if you can wait till after the 20th of March to sign contracts, to buy a new iPhone, even to buy a new car or computer, I would do that, because you may have issues with these items if you do buy during a Mercury retrograde. But as I said many times, we just maybe have to do it during a Mercury retrograde and get on with our life, right? Happy new moon to you, Pisces. So Aries, you know, you now have both Saturn and Neptune in your sign. And the positive side of those two together, although they're now moving apart, is to really give you inspiration with regards to making your dreams real. Well, what are your dreams, Aries? You've got the opportunity here to maybe manifest some dreams, to maybe even dispense some inspiration to other people from a standpoint of you being maybe an expert in the field. That could be the Saturn part. The Neptune part is the inspiration. Now, when we look at that total full moon eclipse at 13 degrees of Virgo, it falls in your 6th house. And so there's going to be some either big spotlight, a culmination, or an ending to do with 6th house matters. Typically, this plays out with regards to what you do day to day. If you work, it's your job that you do day to day. If you do not work, it is what do you do day to day. There's going to be some culmination or ending here for whatever reason. And certainly in Virgo, it does emphasize things like health. It emphasizes things like important information, collecting important information. So that could all be up here for you around the 3rd of March. That 6th house, as I mentioned, can also represent health. And if we look at the natural zodiac, that 6th house is ruled by Virgo. So there could be some Aries that are wrapping up maybe some health regimen, something to do with their health, where they're able to now move forward with a more positive outlook. Now, because that's a full moon, we know that the sun is going to be in the opposite house, which is the 12th house. And the 12th house does represent things like hospitals, government offices, ashrams. So I'm just thinking that one of the things that could be activated here for you in a positive way is to really take care of yourself, take care of your physical and mental health here by maybe going to something like an ashram where you are, being taken care of. That 12th house is also the house of rest too. So there may be some Aries that decide, look, I got to take better care of my health here. And part of that is going to be me taking a rest. Now, it may just be a physical rest that you maybe just take some time off work. But it could also be that you go to a place like an ashram. Now, there may be other Aries that maybe they've been going to a hospital for treatment of some sort. Well, this is all going to probably be wrapped up at this, in a very good way, at this total full moon eclipse on the 3rd of March. Something to look forward to, right? Now, speaking of the 12th house, that new moon in Pisces will be in your 12th house. So this is now saying this is a new start for you. And I would say that new start is probably going to be you doing something behind the scenes. 12th house is hidden places, hidden things. It could also be saying there's going to be a new start for you literally working behind the scenes here, right? Because we had at the beginning of the month the activation of the 6th house of your work. Now we have a new start working behind the scenes. So for some Aries, this might be just a whole new job where you're no longer in front of people. You got to work behind the scenes on things. Maybe there will be some Aries that actually work or take up a job around this time period, around the 17th or so of March, working in a hospital setting. But it can also be government offices. So there may also be some Aries that are working at government offices behind the scenes. Still, other Aries may decide to take up something in the metaphysical world because that's a very 12th house as well. And still other Aries may say, it's time for me to clean up my life. And you either do a Marie Kondo in a real situation of cleaning up your home, say, but it could also have you cleaning up what's going on in here, things that have been holding you back. You now say, I'm going to have a new start here. I'm going to clean some things up that I know are just holding me back. These could just be bad habits that need to go. Good luck with that, Aries. Take care. So Taurus, that total full moon eclipse at 13 degrees of Virgo, well, it trines you, right? Because it's a fellow earth sign. And it brings in the influence of the 5th house. So I think that's very important too. Although it's a full moon, it is an eclipse, so you could have a door close and a door open, or a door open and a door close with an eclipse. But something is going to be brought to light here with regards to some association with Virgo type energies. So this is anything to do with your health, say. It can also have anything to do with collecting important information or important information coming to light for you. But the 5th house here can represent some creative projects. So there's going to be some Taurians. Maybe you get some kind of writing project awarded to you at this time. Maybe you finish up some big creative project that it truly is a culmination of you putting all your energies into a creative project. And that 3rd of March says, okay, it's done and dusted. I'm finished now. The 5th house can also represent new love and true love. So there may be some Taurians here. Now this forms a trine, so this is positive energy. Have that eclipse affect them favorably. Maybe what changes for you is an illumination that you really are in love with this person and you take the next step. That next step could be an engagement, for instance. So that may happen to some Taurians as well. The 5th house also represents children if you have them. So there's going to be some positive energies being beamed towards them as well. This could be a wrap up for them of some project that they've been doing too in a very positive way. Still others, maybe if you're interested in becoming pregnant, this could bring in something like that too, or even bring a culmination of a pregnancy and you give birth at this time too at the total eclipse. Certainly we have a Venus is going to be in your 11th house at this time, sextiling Uranus in your 1st house. This brings in a moment of excitement for you, and that is related to that total eclipse as well. So this could be unexpected happenings with regards to your love life. Could bring in money as well for you, maybe money through friends or through groups that you belong to. So that's another energy that's going on at that eclipse on the 3rd of March as well. But when we look at that new moon, that's going to be almost at 29 degrees of Pisces. That does fall in your 11th house, and it forms a favorable sextile, which brings in opportunities for you. So I think friends could be very instrumental for you this month, Taurus, to bring in either maybe exciting new projects of some sort. It can also bring in maybe an exciting opportunity in your love life here. I mean, it could also just literally spell out where a friend becomes a lover. That could also happen for some Taurians as well. But the other thing the 11th house is your hopes, dreams, and wishes. And so that sextile there and new moon says there's new potential opportunities here and new inspiration, right? It's in Pisces. to maybe make your hopes, dreams, or wishes come true at this time. Good time to maybe do a vision board as part of an activity or a ritual around that new moon as well. Maybe do it the day after. But that really, I think this month is going to bring in an ending at that new moon of some very beautiful inspirational opportunities for you here. I think friends could provide you with some support here. So look to them in the month of March to help you out. Take care, Taurus. So Gemini, both that full moon eclipse and the new moon form squares with you, Gemini. The first one, that total full moon in Virgo, which is an eclipse, it squares your 4th house. And so there may be some challenges here with regards to your family. Literally the home that you're living in may provide some challenges to you. If you're buying or selling a home, there could just be extra steps that you have to go through, extra boxes that you've got to check off. So for those Geminis that are in this activity, especially buying or selling a home, that's going to be happening in March. We'll just say the whole month of March. Things could be brought to light suddenly regarding that selling or buying for you. So I'm making this video in February. So if you are listening to it early when I publish it, take care to make sure, all your ducks are in a row if you are going to be buying or selling a home, or even if you're thinking of renting a home as well. Check out everything around it, right? And certainly if you are buying or selling, make sure the real estate agent has been fully vetted, that they're going to really be supporting you here. But it could just bring in, I'm getting the feeling of more mixed messages regarding family members. And I would say, Gemini, just be very clear. Certainly be cooperative. Certainly Geminis are very social and like to, engage in conversations. Just make sure that you are coming across in the right way, right? We have a Mercury retrograde going on up till the 20th of March as well. So because you're ruled by Mercury, Gemini, that Mercury retrograde does affect you too. And so I would say just make sure all your messaging is clear and do a double check on anything. If you're waiting for any messages, for instance, Gemini, this month of March is a time when you want to do your own checking up. Don't be shy about saying, hey, I reached out to you 2 weeks ago, but I haven't heard from you. You may find out that they did get in touch with you, but it went into, one of our many email boxes that we don't always check. So that would be another thing. I would check in the month of March, each of your different delineations of your email, because you may find something in there that you've been waiting for that's important for you, right? Certainly, Virgo rules things like important information. It rules service. It also rules things like our health. So I would say also, this is a good time for you to check your own boxes off with regards to your health. Maybe get that yearly physical at this time. That would not be a bad thing to do at this total moon eclipse. Something may be revealed to you that's tiny. A lab value is off that's easily corrected. But I think more than anything else, I think there may be some, missed steps, miscommunications with family members. So just be very clear. And if you don't understand something or you think you've misinterpreted something, ask for clarity. So when we go to the new moon in Pisces, that squares your 10th house. This can just bring challenges to those Geminis that are really trying to make inroads into, say, a new career. You may just have to have a box checked off here too. Maybe there's a licensure that you have to get, or a licensure you have to renew that you forgot about, and you're falling behind and you have to do a mea culpa about, I didn't realize I had to do this, and you get it done. That's all you have to do with this square. But you could also just have whatever in your career is a little bit onerous for you. Your boss thinks you're doing a great job, and they give you a few more things to do, and you think, I don't need more things to do at this time. I would say take it on with a smile, ask for help where you need it, and certainly seek out a mentor at this time that could possibly help solve any issues that you might be happening with regards to a career. But it is a new start here. So there's going to be some Geminis that are going to be literally starting a new career. Hey, I've had to do this in different times in my life, and it isn't always easy, even though you're really excited about it. There's an adjustment. Accept there's going to be adjustment, and put your shoulder into it and just get on with it, right? Gemini, you've got a lot of other beautiful aspects that are actually once in a lifetime positive aspects happening in March too. So Pluto in March will get to about 4 or 5 degrees of Aquarius, and it will trine you, Gemini. So if you've got anything, say your ascendant or your sun, around 4 or 5 degrees of Gemini, this is a once in a lifetime trine for you. Now, Pluto will go retrograde and go back over this again, but we'll just say, especially for 2026, this is positive transformational energy coming in for you. And let me just see what house that is. Yeah, so that's your 9th house. So certainly for those Geminis that say want to plan some travel of some sort, or need to apply for visas or green cards, or there's a legal matter that comes up. With this trine, it is going to help you in spades do whatever you need. This could also play out as something as travel. Almost every Gemini I know loves to travel. And so this can bring in some transformational energy that helps you maybe put together a beautiful travel plan and trip for yourself. Certainly if you've got any legal matters that you've got to handle, and these could be, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be involved in a legal case. It could be you just putting your will together. That's going to be really positively aspected here and put together for you. That's what I will say. You also have both Saturn and Neptune in Aries at this time, and they will be sextiling your 11th house. Sextiles are positive opportunities for you coming from friends. And that's a long-lasting energy, by the way. They're both still pretty close together in March. Saturn is separating a bit and will be around 2 degrees of Aries, with Neptune still staying around 0 to 1 degree. But friends are going to be important for you too here, to give you new opportunities to make your dreams come true, right? Or groups that you belong to can help hopes, dreams, or wishes come true here as well. Certainly in the month of March, take advantage of your friends helping you move forward with a dream or wish that you have. It's super positive for you. And in conjunction with Pluto, these could be off the charts, transformational, that are hard to even imagine right now as I'm speaking to you. And speaking of unexpected energy, Uranus will be going into your sign on the 27th of April. So you can look for those Geminis that have been waiting to break free of something, it's coming. It is coming. And you may even be picking up some of those energies in March. But the full emphasis is going to be towards that end of April, when Uranus goes into your sign and freedom will be your call. You will be released, Gemini, from whatever's been holding you back. And for, I'd say, a lot of Geminis, whatever's been holding you back your whole life up to now. Well, take care of yourself, Gemini. So Cancer, that total full moon eclipse that happens at 13 degrees of Virgo on the 3rd of March, sextiles your sign and involves your 3rd house. Wow, there's going to be some Cancers that get a really exciting opportunity to write, to present, to maybe even present by, going around locally talking about different things. This 3rd house can also represent siblings and neighbors. So there may be some wrap up. Maybe you're doing with some of your neighbors, you're doing a neighborhood watch and you finally wrap up the details of how you're going to do it. Maybe you've been working with your siblings to put together some plan of some sort. Like I said, this is a sextile, so there's opportunities here to reach out. And certainly for those Cancers that have not been reaching out to, say, your siblings, that eclipse could highlight an opportunity here for you to do that for some reason. that opportunity may be related to Virgo things like health, your health, or maybe your siblings' health. Or it could be, your day-to-day job too, because that also can be coming up here. Important information comes to you that requires you to reach out to either your siblings and or your neighbors too. A writing project could be wrapped up at this time as well, but just as likely, because it's an eclipse, a writing project could be awarded to some Cancers as well. Certainly communications of all sorts are going to be up in terms of it being highlighted for you, Cancer. Now the new moon that'll be in Pisces, almost at the anaretic 29 degree of Pisces, is also favorable for you, but it's a fellow water sign, so it trines you. So it's beaming positive energy from where? The 9th house. This would be an ideal time to go traveling. Certainly over water, it's Pisces. It could also be a time when you take that cruise, or you get the opportunity, maybe money comes your way, or opportunities, or both, to put together some big travel plan that involves probably water of some sort. So that could be a cruise with the family. Maybe that's what you're going to do at that beginning of the eclipse. You're going to say, we got to get together here, siblings, and let's take a cruise, or let's go overseas, take that trip that we always wanted to take. That could be very much part of this, Cancer, for you, with the eclipse as well as tied in with that new moon. But the 9th house can also represent things like there'll be some Cancers that have applied, say, for a master's or PhD program. They're accepted. Now, this eclipse happens around the 3rd of March. The new moon happens towards the latter part, so it's around the 17th or so of March. So look for some important communications if that's something you've applied for. Legal cases of any sort, or any kind of legal matter, could be favorably highlighted too. For those Cancers that, wrapped up a writing project, maybe a book of some sort, at the 3rd of March eclipse, this is going to be opportunities later on when you can actually get published. Either self-publishing becomes a reality, or a publisher accepts your writing or your written work and wants to publish it for you. Very positive for those things too. And a nice thing that's happening on the 22nd, around the 22nd of March, is Mars, which will be in your 9th house of Pisces, will be trining Jupiter in Cancer, which of course is your 1st house, because Jupiter is in your sign right now, right up to the end of June. So this can bring some positive, fortunate action of some sort. So for those Cancers that do need to do something in terms of, I've got to take a decision here, I've got to take some action here, whatever it is in, I would say try to earmark around that 22nd of March where the celestial energies will be positively supporting you. Take care, Cancer. So Leo, that total full moon eclipse at 13 degrees of Virgo, it falls in your 2nd house. So around that 3rd of March, there's going to be some Leos that actually maybe end a job they've been doing and start a new job. 2nd house is where we earn our money. And I would say that if for those Leos that's happening to, the new work that you're going to be doing to earn your money is going to be focused around facts and information, collecting important information, maybe important information to do with health, but just generally speaking. And writing may be in part of this new energy with regards to how you're making your money at the eclipse, but it's a whole big change for you. It could be that some Leos will literally be leaving a job and starting a new one at this eclipse on the 3rd of March. It can also have, for some Leos, their value go up at this time too, because that also is part of what the 2nd house represents, is our values and how we are valued. When we look at the new moon, that's going to be at around 29 degrees of Pisces. Well, that falls in the opposite to the 2nd house. That's the 8th house. And so we're featuring money here for you, Leo, this month of March. That new moon's going to put a big emphasis on shared resources, your investments, your 401k. So there's some new start here for you, Leo, regarding money, especially with regards to investments or what you share with other people, shared bank accounts, that type of thing. You may start some new investments. Maybe you're going to actually consult a financial advisor at this time, and you decide how maybe you're going to be investing your money. You look more carefully at, well, how is my 401k doing right now? Do I need to change it up? Those are all important activities. There may be still other Leos that decide to, take up some psychological therapy of some sort, because certainly the 8th house represents the psychology of our mind. There may even be some Leos that become a psychologist at this time too. It's a great new moon for anything to do with compassion, right? Especially compassion for ourselves, Leo. Now, the other things that are going on, of course, is Saturn and Neptune in Aries form a trine with you, Leo. And this is going to be a long-term effect, and it will affect all Leos at some point over the next, certainly the next 3 years or so, when both Saturn and Neptune stay in Aries. And this is going to be featuring, like I said, a trine, which is super positive energy beaming at your 9th house. I love the 9th house. The 9th house does represent a lot of things. So you may, in March, be traveling, and it's all going to work out really well, really positive for you. You may be taking your own initiative, because that Saturn and Neptune is in Aries. Aries is all about me, me, me. I want to do what I want to do. But that trine says it's all positive. And the 9th house says travel is going to be particularly not only important for you to realize your dreams and your wishes, but it's also going to be important for you with regards to, how you actually feel. And new initiatives coming your way. The new initiatives coming your way could come through legal matters too, by the way. And with the trine, it says it's going to work out for you. So for those Leos that are involved in any kind of legal matters at this point, this really supports you having it turn out in your favor. The 9th house is also publishing. So for those Leos that write or are involved in publishing in some way, this also supports your work being published. And this could really, pan out in a much more ordinary way. Maybe you've been working hard on something to do with a company required writing project. Well, this is going to turn out everyone's going to look at you saying, this is a great piece of work. So look for that in March for yourself too. Super positive. But the 9th house is travel. Foreign people, foreign things can also come into the mix here that are very positive for you. Yeah, and Pluto in March will be at 4 to 5 degrees of Aquarius, and that's going to be opposing you. So Leo, do check, Leo ascendants and Leo sun, do you have anything at 4 or 5 degrees? You say your sun or your ascendant. There could be some transformation required of you at this time. It may even involve you letting go of something. It doesn't have to be negative, but Pluto is really insistent. And if you've got something around that 4 or 5 degrees of Leo, there could be some, people in power that are requesting something of you. And it could be something as simple as that you're having to deal with people in power. And they're not all the greatest people. They're exerting their power. Just do what you're supposed to do that helps you transform, and everything should be fine. Everyone at some point over the next 20 years will have that Pluto in Aquarius oppose them, whatever that is, their sun or their ascendant. It doesn't have to be bad though, right? Yeah, so you've got a great month here, Leo, but it does all focus around money, the money you make, and then the money that you invest, generally speaking. Make those changes. They're all going to be positive. And if you are traveling, Leo, enjoy yourself. Bye for now. So Virgo, that total full moon eclipse at 13 degrees of Virgo falls in your first house. It's a direct hit on you, right? So this is a big wrap up for some Virgos. Now, the interesting thing is, when we talk about eclipses, Virgo, is that, yeah, when we look at full moons, we almost always say there's going to be an ending, there's a wrap up, there's a big focus. But you could just as easily have a new beginning here, especially as it affects your sign, Virgo. So it can go either way. It can even go both ways. Something ends and something begins. But it's going to have something to do with related things that apply to Virgo. So this is going to be collecting important information, important facts. Writing may come into the mix here. Your health may also be brought up here too. So this would be a good time to have that annual checkup, because if you do have something, it'll be revealed at this time. Or you may take some action regarding your health too at this time. In fact, even though it's a full moon, Virgo, this would be a good time to say, how is my health? How is my mental health? How is my physical health? Am I taking care of myself appropriately? If not, this would be a good time to initiate something. But something is going to be brought to light in any or all of these areas that I've just mentioned. I think the big focus, though, is going to be put on collecting or paying attention to important information, however that translates out or generalizes to you, Virgo, in your life. When we look at that new moon in Pisces, well, it opposes you. Pisces is in your opposite to you house of the 7th house. And we also have a Mercury retrograde going on until the 20th of March. And of course, Mercury rules your sign, Virgo, so you will be affected by that Mercury retrograde. I'm just going to say all the month of March. So that means all that important information or facts that you're collecting, you need to do a double check on it, because it could say that you're going to miss some important information. So for those Virgos that are doing that activity in the month of March, a good activity would be to double check all your work. Because with the Mercury retrograde, you could have a few snafus if you're not careful. And I would say also, Virgo, pay attention to your intuition. If as you're collecting that important information or writing important information or collecting important facts, you just get this insight that something's not right here, take advantage of that and check it out. You do all that and you're going to be fine with the effects of the Mercury retrograde. Because the Mercury retrograde, the best way to use it is to go back and collect information, to connect in with people with messages or discussions. All right, let's go back to that new moon at almost 29 degrees of Pisces. This could pan out where your partner, whether it's your business partner or your marriage partner, has stuff happening to them. Maybe they're putting together some kind of business partnership of some sort. There's a new start for them in some kind of compassionate project. Maybe a 501c is up for them. Maybe you're putting something together like that as well. You know, Pisces is all about, certainly inspiration, but it is also about compassionate projects. I'm thinking also the other thing surrounding that energy of Pisces is music of any sort could become important to some Virgos. New initiatives there. Dance may be important. Pisces can also rule things like film, right? Film or literal still pictures. Maybe all that's going to come in the mix here for some Virgos at that new moon, where you work with other people in relation to those types of things. I'm getting this thing too also that there may be some Virgos that help put together with other people, some big music event. I don't know, I just got inspired by that some Virgo may say, yeah, I'm connecting with all these people and they want me to help put together, this huge event that involves music. But it could be dance too. Well, good luck with that for those Virgos that are doing that. Now, Mars and Mercury will both be in Pisces. And of course, we know that's opposite to you. So there may also be, a little bit of discussions with your partner, your business partner, your marriage partner, even your clients. Now this, with Mars being in your 7th house too at this time, I'm not seeing this as a negative thing. You may actually be helping, I'm thinking helping people take action regarding their destiny path. Now this could generalize to your personal life, but it could also generalize to, you know, your business life or the work that you do day to day as well, Virgo. That activation can be happening for some of you too, as you present ideas for people to, you know, move forward with whatever they're doing in their destiny path. You give them new insight. And as I said, that might be all tied into this whole idea of this new work that you might be doing with business partners. But certainly your partnerships, business, marriage, as well as clients can all be featured at that new moon in terms of new starts happening there. Put inspiration into the equation and you're going to be fine here, Virgo. People will be looking for that from you in the month of March. Take care, Virgo. So Libra, that total full moon eclipse that happens at 13 degrees of Virgo falls in your 12th house. We always refer to the 12th house as a hidden house. It can suggest that there's going to be some Librans that'll be working behind the scenes, maybe in government offices, maybe even doing some secret projects of some sort that you can't bring out into the public at this time. But it could also have you working in hospitals behind the scenes, maybe putting together a new program for a hospital that you have to keep under wraps at this time. But certainly with the influence of Virgo, health certainly is emphasized here, but also collecting important information, maybe even writing may be part. So there's going to be some Librans that are going to be given maybe a project to work behind the scenes, maybe to collect important information in a government office or say in a hospital setting that you'll be able to bring out at a later time. But this is all about you collecting the important facts and information. There could also be some Librans that are doing a writing project that you literally aren't bringing forward at this time. Yeah, and you're also this month going to have Pluto favorably sending positive energy in terms of a trine. Now, Pluto will be at about 4 or 5 degrees of Aquarius, so to have the real positive effect, Libra, you do have to have something like your ascendant or your sun, say, around 4 or 5 degrees of Libra. And then it's positively affected by a trine with Pluto. But hey, that is like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing. You know that, right? Pluto takes around 250 years to go around the sun. So this is a positive, once-in-a-lifetime energy of transformation. That's going to be really important for you. Let me just check to see what house that is in for you, Libra. Yeah, it's your 5th house. So this is an ongoing energy too, Libra, where maybe a new love in your life is going to literally transform your life. If you have a child or are thinking about have a child, this is going to transform your life too. Creative projects could be up big time for you. And that is going to help transform your life too. But new love could be on the cards for you, Libra. For those Librans that aren't or haven't been able to find the right person, this could be brought in for you at this eclipse, even though it's in the hidden house, the 12th house. But you may have to keep it under wraps, or for whatever reason, it can't be brought out into the public. But that's okay, it can still go on. With the Pluto influence here, it is about transformation and once in a lifetime. And it could come through unexpected ways too, because Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, right? The planet Uranus, and that is sudden, unexpected, surprising type things. It could even be you're attracted to a person that you didn't even think you'd be attracted to. So I guess it also says be open, especially when it comes to your love life, Libra. When we look at that new moon, it is just a new moon, almost at the anaretic 29 degree of Pisces, that falls in your 6th house. So this puts a new start in terms of the job you do day to day. There will be some Librans that are starting a new job, period. That's what's going on. Now that new job might be in a whole new company, Or it could be in your present company that you get awarded that, especially if it has anything to do with compassion, the music industry, the film industry, dance of any sort. Those could all be positively aspected for you, Libra, as well. Your health could also take a new start here too. Maybe that total full moon eclipse that we spoke about at the beginning of March closes out something to do with you going to a hospital or something like a hospital setting. And now you're able to take this new lease on life with regards to your health once you've got that new moon happening, right? Because that new moon, almost at the anaretic degree of Pisces, the anaretic degree really wraps things up. So even though it's a new moon, there's also a wrap up as well at that time. I think it's a wrap up with regards to your health. Maybe you've been putting some real effort into your health, and you're going to see at that new moon around the 17th or so of March that your health really has improved. Maybe you go in to get your lab values taken again, and they say, wow, these are big improvements for you. Yeah, I love the influence of that trine of Pluto to your sign, Libra. Super positive transformation. And certainly for those Librans that are looking to literally transform themselves, that influence of Pluto could help you do that, like literally transform how you look. It's a positive influence for you, right? Take care, Libra. So Scorpio, that total full moon eclipse that happens on the 3rd of March at 13 degrees of Virgo forms a positive sextile, giving you opportunities from where? From your 11th house. This would be a month for you to leverage your relationships with friends, with groups that you belong to. And if you aren't in the right groups that you should belong to, that eclipse can bring in something that's very positive for you. Now, we typically talk about endings, culminations, a big emphasis or spotlight being put on the 11th house. But hey, it can also bring in new friends for you that are very, very positive and supportive for you. Friends could literally bring into you around that 3rd of March important facts or information that are useful to you. Now, we also still have in this month of March, Uranus towards the latter degrees of Taurus, and of course Taurus is opposite to you. So certainly if you have anything, say around, let's just say 27 to 29 degrees, say your sun and or your ascendant in Scorpio, you will still have that Uranus opposing that. But I think I always get this impression when I talk about that for Scorpios is that Uranus wants to set you free. It's trying to bring in energy to say you could be free of this. So for those Scorpios that fit into that, know that you could be set free. And I think with that influence of that 11th house of friends, that your friends can help and assist you. I'm getting this as an intuition for some Scorpios. Let me know in the comments if this means anything to some Scorpios or any Scorpio. Yeah. Now, the positive thing, sticking with that Uranus, is that at that new moon, eclipse that's almost at 29 degrees of Pisces, it does sextile Uranus. So that new moon sets up some positive, unexpected energy with regards to new starts for you. And for you, that's a fellow water sign, right, Pisces? So that new moon at 29 degrees of Pisces forms a beautiful, favorable trine with your 5th house. Wow. Scorpios, you're going to have either a new love come into your life of significance, someone that probably seems like a soulmate. Others are going to have this fabulous new creative project come in, and in particular, probably Pisces related. And that could be, that's the film industry, that is dance. It literally is photographs as well. It's also anything to do with music. All positively aspected here as a new start for some Scorpios. Children could be brought in here on a favorable standpoint. If you are thinking of, or want to get pregnant, this would be a positive influence for you to become pregnant, suddenly become pregnant, because remember, we've got that positive influence of a sextile to Uranus from the new moon and the sun together, right? And also positively, you have Jupiter in Cancer at 15 degrees of Cancer, will trine your sign as it goes direct in March too. So this could bring some really positive forward movement for you with regards to maybe, it can also represent that Jupiter, represent travel of any sort. So I'm thinking for those Scorpios that are planning any travel of any sort, Jupiter going forward can make it happen for you. But it forms this positive trine with your sign. Let me just see what house it falls in for you. I'm looking now at Jupiter in Cancer for you, Scorpio. Yeah, the 9th house. So there could be some approval for travel here, probably internationally. Or you could be released or positively resolve some legal issue. For others, you may be accepted with that movement forward of Jupiter in Cancer in your 9th house. You get approved for your, entrance into doing your master's or your Ph.D. program. But I think more likely this is going to be travel is approved of some sort, probably international travel for some Scorpios in that month of March as Jupiter goes direct at 15 degrees of Cancer. Good month for you, Scorpio. Take care. So Sagittarius, both that full moon eclipse as well as the new moon in Pisces square your sign. And let's just go through because you've got a lot of other positive things happening for you as well. So when we start off with that total full moon eclipse at 13 degrees of Virgo on the 3rd of March, it squares your 10th house. So there's going to be some Sagittarius that have started a new career, a new job, and you're still going to have to put effort into, that's kind of the square, or you may have a few challenges come in here where you've got to take care of important information and facts. Maybe these are licensures that you've got to get. Maybe it's a small course that you've got to do to check off a box where they say, okay, now you're ready to start this career. Maybe it's something as simple as you're in the midst of negotiating and signing a contract for a new career. And this total full moon eclipse says, okay, it's done and dusted. But there are challenges that go with it for you, or extra efforts that you've had to do or make to have this new start in your career of some sort, or ending in a career. I mean, that's the other thing. We could say that there are going to be some Sagittarius that want to end a career and start a new one. And, it is not an easy thing sometimes to, disengage, uncouple yourself from a career that maybe you've had for many years and say, I want to get out of that and do something else. And this could be the total full moon eclipse illuminates the things that you need to do to let go of one career and go into the other. That's perfectly fine. At a full moon eclipse, it can bring in both though. So remember that, Sagittarius, as you're letting go of something, turn around and another door opens up for you. Remember that at the eclipse on the 3rd of March. Now, when we look at the new moon in Pisces, that will be squaring your 4th house. 4th house is family. It's your mother. It's the home you live in. It is even your childhood home. And it also represents your habits too. All these areas of life could come up, or one of these areas could come up. I'm getting the feeling that this new moon for a lot of Sagittarians, it's going to be a focus on your habits, your bad habits that you need to correct. And they're going to be displayed in relief for you, where you're going to have no doubt about habits that need to be cleaned up here or changed. And maybe you'll have some family members pointing them out to you. This may all be positive for you because it is a new moon. I would say the important thing for you, Sagittarius, is to have compassion for yourself, because that is very much emphasized in Pisces. But if you do have some, issues or challenges around family or mother, just look to resolving them in a win-win type way. That is how I would handle this. And like I said, this is in Pisces. Have compassion for yourself first, Sagittarius, but also have compassion for family members or, say, your mother. There may be some older Sagittarians that are seeing maybe their mother has to be put in a home or has to have some additional help given to her as she ages. and you're the eldest, and you've got to step in and somehow make it happen. Those are not necessarily straightforward things to do, where you've got to check out what services are available, how much money is available, what does she really need? Do I need to take her into the doctor? Do I need to take her for some assessments? Those could be potentially up, as the Pisces emphasizes compassion, right? But I think overall, with that new moon, Sagittarius, take a look at your habits. Take a look at your habits and make a determination to change the bad ones and maybe encourage some of the good ones. Others could have challenges just getting a home. If you're buying or selling a home or even renting, you may just have to go through some extra hoops here to make it all happen for yourself. That there may be some challenges there. Now, positively, you have both Saturn and Neptune in a fellow fire sign now, and that's Aries. Well, that trines you, and it involves your fifth house. So yeah, maybe March has some challenges in certain areas of your life, Sagittarius, but wow, you've got this big, huge, positive energy beaming at your fifth house, and that's going to be beaming there for some time. Now in March, you will have both Saturn and Neptune be in Aries, but at different degrees. They'll both be around the 0 to 2 degree mark. Saturn is separating from Neptune and will go up to 14 degrees in 2026. Neptune will stay up to 4 degrees of Aries. So take a look at your chart, Sagittarius, and see where you have anywhere between 0 and 2 or 3 degrees for the month of March. You've got this positive energy coming from your fifth house. So what does that mean? It means you could have some hope or dream or wish possibly come true or manifest to do with a creative project. You may be awarded a creative project. If you're looking to potentially have a child, that could come through now as a real possibility for you. The other thing that could happen is a new love positively comes into your life. And with the influence of Saturn, this could be with an older person, or you could be the older person here. But there's going to be some Sagittarians that have a fabulous creative project where you've got to take the initiative in it, drop in their lap. Take care, Sagittarius. So Capricorn, that total full moon eclipse that happens on the 3rd of March at 13 degrees of Virgo is in a fellow earth sign. That means it trines you. Where does it trine you from? The 9th house. I love the 9th house. So there's going to be some Capricorns that literally are wrapping up some long distance travel of some sort. Maybe you've been on a cruise and you're coming back home. Still others are maybe wrapping up, putting together some kind of, international travel of some sort. Maybe you're doing something with, your family or friends, and you finally all come to the agreement of what you're going to do, where you're going to travel, how you're going to travel. And this full moon puts a big stamp on it and says, okay, we've all agreed. This is what we're going to do. Other Capricorns are going to be wrapping up some legal matters here in a very positive way. Others are getting their book published. Still others may be wrapping up one of two things regarding advanced education. You're either finishing up a master's or Ph.D., and you're starting. You've been approved by an institution to go ahead with a new advanced degree program. All super positive. The influence of foreign people and foreign places is really strong here. So I'm thinking there may be some Capricorns that have been living overseas that are coming back home. And this full moon, total full moon eclipse highlights that for you. Now, when we look at the new moon, that'll be in Pisces, that is also favorable for you, Capricorn. It forms a sextile from your 3rd house. Now, the 3rd house is short distance travel, whereas the 9th house that I spoke about earlier is international travel. Now we're talking about opportunities to do local travel of some sort. It's an opportunity to maybe start a writing project that involves some kind of compassionate information or some compassionate energy. Or maybe you're going to be writing about some compassionate project regarding maybe the plight of some unfortunate people that have had unfortunate things happen to them. So a writing project opportunity could come in for some Capricorns too. Teaching is also very much part of the third house as well. Communications of any sort are going to be important for you to make positive new starts, Capricorn. So if you're looking, for instance, to change your job at this time, this would be a time for you to put the feelers out, right, at the new moon. Let me just take a look here. Take a look at the chart again. We do have Mercury retrograde going on as well, of course, during the month of, right up to the 20th of March. So just watch what you do put in writing of any sort, especially at that new moon. That new moon happens just before the 20th when Mercury goes direct. So just double check your work, as I would say. And as usual, if you can avoid buying new computers and new iPhones, even new cars, prior to Mercury going, no problem getting the information about all these things and looking at it. But wait to the 20th, if you can, to go ahead and purchase something. Yeah, that's what I would say when Mercury then goes direct, or even just a little bit after that. Just looking here at the chart to see if there's anything else I've got for you that is important. Yeah, I mean, that new moon that happens almost at 29 degrees of Pisces, it will be physically sextiling Uranus. And as I already mentioned, it's coming from your third house. So, yeah, there might be some unexpected new writing project coming your way, some unexpected communications that gives you new opportunities, to maybe travel around locally, to do some kind of writing of some sort. Even presenting could be part of this mix too. There may be some Capricorns that now travel locally to present some important compassionate type information. I mean, this could have anything to do with hospitals too, right, and health. That could be part of this mix as well. Yeah, it's looking pretty good for you here. The emphasis here is on certainly things like travel, writing, foreign people, foreign things are kind of up for you as well. All right, take care, Capricorn. So Aquarius, that total full moon eclipse at 13 degrees of Virgo on the 3rd of March falls in your 8th house. And the new moon falls in your 2nd house. So the 2nd and the 8th house we refer to as mainly money houses. So the month of March is going to involve money, the money you make, as well as the money you save or that you share with other people. The first one, the total full moon eclipse, that 13 degrees of Virgo on the 3rd of March, emphasizes the money you share with other people, generally speaking, your investments that you make, your pension, your 401k, any money that you share with other people, checking accounts, that sort of thing, are all up for some big illumination. Maybe you're going to be given the opportunity here, Aquarius, to invest somewhere. Maybe your financial advisor is bringing you an idea for an investment and you take it. You say, wow, okay, let's do it. For still other Aquarius, this might be a time you decide you want to retire. And that 8th house now becomes activated because you're going to start taking money from your pension, from your 401k, from any of your investments. And you have to do a real big sweep of how you're going to access all that money. That would be, if you are Aquarius or some Aquarians are going through that, you will be really supported with that decision to retire at this time. Others may just cash some of their investments out for whatever reason. Maybe some important information has happened here or brought to light for you that causes you or makes you make that decision. Now that new moon in Pisces falls in your 2nd house. The 2nd house, generally speaking, we talk about it as the money we make. It is our values, how we are valued, and our value system. And to some extent, it's also our possessions. So it says there's a new start here. I mean, literally, this is going to translate for some Aquarians. You're going to start a new job. And it's going to be around the 17th or so where that new moon happens, right? And that new moon is very close to 29 degrees, which is the anaretic degree of Pisces. And it really speaks to a wrap-up as well, right? Now, we're still going to have that Mercury retrograde going on till the 20th, right? So that Mercury goes direct after this new moon. If you can, Aquarius, for those Aquarians that are starting a new job, if you can start that or sign that contract either on the 20th or just after the 20th of March, it would be a better thing for you. If you can, sometimes we can't though. If you can wait to the 20th of March to start the new job and to sign a contract for a new job, that would be the perfect and ideal situation. But sometimes we can't, and we have to go ahead with signing it during Mercury retrograde. But it will benefit you if you can wait, because there may be a situation come up later on in March or April where you have to go back and correct some things in that contract that you signed. So double check if you do have to sign, Aquarius, for a new job, that everything is correct in there and that you understand the obligations that you're under in this new job clearly, because the Mercury retrograde can make things a little murky for you. Ask questions. The other thing is that new moon it could also say that your value goes up at this time as well. And maybe that value, your value going up, is going to represent perhaps some money coming your way with this new job too. Now, we have Saturn as well as Neptune now fully ensconced in Aries, forming a sextile with you. Now, Saturn is going to stay in 2026 up to about 14 degrees. Neptune will go up to about 4 degrees. So those are the degree points that are going to be activated for Aquarians that have either their sun or ascendant, or maybe even a conglomeration of planets in Aquarius around those degrees for 2026. And it aspects your third house, Aquarius. And so this is saying to me that, you know, there could be maybe some hope or dream that you've had that you've wanted to make or you wanted to have come true. There could be some substantial type of energy put around this hope, dream, or wish that you have, especially if it relates to anything third house. Well, this could be a writing project. So if you have something around those degrees, Aquarius, you could have a writing project that comes in here that really fulfills you in some way. Now, the other thing is the third house also represents, you know, anything to do with communication. So it could literally generalize to the influence of Saturn and Neptune, where you receive some very positive communications that are really useful to you personally. It can also have you putting structure around you having to, maybe in your job, do travel locally. And you're positively influenced by that at this time. Certainly communications with neighbors as well as siblings may provide you with some opportunities here too that are very, very positive. In March, we will have Pluto get to 4 or 5 degrees of Aquarius. And so Pluto here will be influencing those folks that have their ascendants and or sun around those degrees. And really, Pluto is all about helping you transform into the best version of yourself. But sometimes it involves us letting go of some things too. Take care of yourself, Aquarius. All right, everyone, that's it for me for the month of March 2026. As always, I love to hear from you. If you want your own chart done, I would love to do it. All my services are down below. Just shoot me off an email and we will set something up like a Zoom call, either pre-recorded, or I can set it up where we can do it live. I love hearing from you. Please leave comments. I always get back to all my viewers and subscribers. Please take care of yourself. Sending everybody lots of love. This is a pretty active month for, I would say, big changes in a very, very positive way. Just watch out for that Mercury retrograde. Check all your messages and the way you speak. Be compassionate and be understanding, and you should be okay. Bye for now, everybody, and take care.